Welcome to the Oregon Fly Fishing blog. Today we're going to tie a purple rooster parachute. This fly was quite popular this spring on our local rivers and is a fair imitation for a March brown, but it can mimic a lot of different things. I've got a TMC 100 in here, or your favorite dry fly hook. And I'm going to tie some pheasant tail in for the tail. I'm going to try to keep the body symmetry here. So I'm going to bring that up the shank. Now I'm going to tie in a parachute of calf tail. We got calf tail in the stacker, tips down, stack the snot out of it, takes a while, comb, restack. I'm going to try to go a gap and a half on this. We'll see where we end up. I'm going to go ahead, you should put a little bit of wax on your thread before you start tying in calf tail. Calf tail's slick and it will slide on you. I'm going to turn this and make sure I've got that about where I want it, and I do. So I'll pull this up, cut that kind of at an angle flat so that when I secure this down, I don't have too huge of a bump in there. Smooth it out with thread a little bit. Now I've got that in. I'm going to pull the wing up, take my thumbnail, push in there, and just get the thread in front there. And this is where the wax is really important. I've got that hair standing up. I'm going to wax this thread pretty good. And I'm going to start working my way around. Now I've got some short hairs in there, and I recognize that. That's not uncommon. I'll clean all that up. Cinch it down as you're coming up. The wax will stick on itself and on the material. Kind of keep it there. I wrap up higher than most people because I like to put a pretty heavy hackle. Now I'm going to come in and clean up a lot of this. Good place for a cautery tool. I don't have mine handy. I'll get my thread covering everything up. You know, these smaller threads that are available today make our tying a lot easier. So if you can take advantage of the Vivas, do so. It's a nice product. The 12-aught for small trout flies is really hard to beat, and I'm using 10 here, and it works pretty well. So next what I'm going to do is do the body. And I need some small silver ultra wire. This is my rib, and I will tie that in. And then I will take a little more pheasant tail. Grab that, cut it off, and I've got the tips here, and what I'm going to do is take those tips and even them out and cut into them a little bit, because these are pretty tender materials, and if you go off the tip you'll probably break it, and I may break some anyway. This is going to come up and be wrapped around just like a pheasant tail nymph as your abdomen. And then I'll bring up my wire through here as a rib, and it'll secure that material down and protect it. You know, the body has a lot of segmentation with the material that we're using. So, you know, the rib's not that important other than just kind of providing some durability. Next, I'm going to come in here and tie in my hackle. You want it to cup down, so you're going to lay it cup down, tie in your tip, get this up in here. And then I'm going to get myself a little UV purple ice dub, and this is your Thorax. Thinly dubbed, just enough to cover the thread so you don't end up with this massive thorax on the fly. Just a few fibers at a time, and like I've said before, ice dub is coarse. The nice thing about it is it grabs and will spin in tight if you really stay on it. And then we'll just take this material and get our thread back here and start. Okay, and then we'll just take our hackle. Fairly heavily hackled. Probably more so than the production fly, but this is how I like to tie mine. Pull that hackle back and wrap in front of it. That way I get a nice, fairly nice clean head. It's a little rough. I'm going to pop this hackle off the front, grab that parachute and position it, and then take my fingers and just kind of work it around and get things spread out and cleaned up. And that is a purple Rooster Parachute.